So in the clip you're about to see, a former Trump insider explains the raw, visceral anger that fuels the MAGA movement. But he doesn't stop there. He then delivers one of the most chilling warnings you will ever hear, directly comparing Trump's tactics to those of historical fascists. If you believe this kind of truth-telling is essential, hit that like and subscribe button. Now let's watch this together and I'll give you my 2 cents at the end.
The people that are now voting for Donald Trump, their grandparents voted for Lyndon Johnson or Jack Kennedy, or their great-grandparents voted for Franklin Roosevelt, but they're now voting for Donald Trump because it's an expression of anger more than it's an expression of hope. You know, Trump is like an orange wrecking ball. Those people are saying to themselves, you know what? You're not taking care of me. You're not taking care of my family. Okay, I would like to hire somebody to hurt you. You see, this is the populist movement in the United States, and this is why he's so powerful. He can commit all types of sins. It's not just kicking the golf ball around. I mean, you could just list all of the major things that he's done, but those people are with him. Trump famously said, hey, I could shoot somebody on Fifth Avenue and they'll stay with me. And the reason is they're angry. The reason is they have this sense of desperation about them, and so a result of which they are using him to express that anger.
If we talk about truth, just for a minute, I think it was Lenin that established Pravda as a result of the revolution, Russian Revolution. And now we have truth social. Pravda means truth in Russian. I think it was Hitler that started to talk about Lügenpresse, lying press, or fake news as they call it now.
Yeah.
Is there and it gives me the chills, actually. If you see the red or blue line from Lenin through Hitler to what's happening right now, is that overrated? Or?
Well, not to me. So I have a podcast. It comes out of the United Kingdom. My podcast co-host, Caddy Kay, is a British journalist. And Dominic Sambrook, who does The Rest is History, is part of our podcast family. When I call Trump a fascist, they get very mad at me. They say that that's the wrong delineation. You can't call him a fascist. That's reserved for people like Hitler and Mussolini. But when you go down the list, as Robert is pointing out, when you go down the list, the us versus them, the demolition of the free press, to your point, and constructing the propaganda of something that isn't true, but is explaining it like it is true. The scapegoating that's happening now in the society, maybe it was Jews in Germany, but it's sort of African Americans and Latino Americans in our society. And if you go down the list, there's a great book by Lawrence Rees called The Nazi Mind. It was written a few months back, and I interviewed him on my other podcast. And if you just read his table of contents, there's 12 chapters in the book. Trump is 12 for 12 in terms of what he's doing and what he's pushing on the society. So now you have a choice. You can either speak out against that, which is the truth, or you can acquiesce to it. And the biggest problem that we're having in our country right now that I see is the fear. Because one of the things that these people do is they create lots of intimidation to silence you and to put you in a fear-based position where people are like, well, you know, I'm going to let this slide because I've got to protect my family, and they start to make this equivocation. I can't do that because I once worked for him and I helped him. So I now have a moral responsibility to speak out against him and explain what he did. Moreover, I'm named after my uncle Anthony was on Normandy Beach on the 6th of June, 1944. My uncle Salvatore fought in the Battle of the Bulge. These guys were brave enough to take a stand against fascism in the 1940s in harm's way. My uncle was actually a Purple Heart recipient. He was wounded. He got off the beach safely, but he was wounded a couple days later in a battle in a small town in France on the way to Paris. And by the way, think of these personalities. He was in a field hospital for 3 months, healed himself up, refused to be discharged, and fought in the Battle of the Bulge. So if those people who are in my family could do that, I can certainly use my mind and my energy and my words to speak up against what I think is fascist behavior. But many people in the UK would say, oh, no, you can't call him a fascist. It's too extreme of a term. But I submit to you that it is fascist behavior, and I think it's incredibly dangerous. And good people's silence enables this type of behavior. There's 50% of my country. There's even people that have voted for Donald Trump that think this is terrible what he's doing. They have to speak up. And so it's important for people like me to show them the way to do that. You have to speak up, and you have to bring people out. Particularly what he's doing in Washington, guys. I don't know if you're watching this. He's going to bring the National Guard into Washington now, and he's going to militarize the city. I can't tell you how dangerous that is from a perspective. Because once he militarizes the city, how are we going to get him to leave the city? Okay, see what he's doing? I know what he's doing because I know the son of a bitch.
Orange wrecking ball metaphor is one of the sharpest and most honest descriptions of the MAGA movement that I've ever heard. Scaramucci's power here comes from his position as a former insider. He isn't guessing, he's giving a diagnosis. He's saying this isn't about hope, it's about pure anger. It's about voters feeling so abandoned and disrespected that they are willing to hire somebody to hurt the very system they believe has failed them. But where this goes from a sharp political analysis to a truly terrifying warning is when he gets to the fascism comparison. The claim that, based on a book about the Nazi mindset, Trump is 12 for 12 on the checklist is staggering. He lays out the classic tactics, the demolition of the free press, the scapegoating of minorities, and the use of fear to silence dissent. His final warning about Trump planning to militarize the city is the ultimate alarm bell. This isn't just a political critique, it's a 5-alarm fire warning from someone who was inside the building. So what do you think? Is Scaramucci right to use the fascist label, or is he going too far? Let me know your honest take in the comments below, and if you found this breakdown valuable, hitting that like and subscribe button is the best way